Please told the message of what you shared. There's Barbara Bateman and her mother. There's Sam, Betty Dill. Looks like Danny Sutphin, Tessie Erickson. That's that Reverend Smith, I guess. And there's Al Lindbergh and Harry Stone. And I don't know if that's Harry Stone's daughter or not. And we're leaving the church. And there's Reverend Sanderson. He was the instrumental man in pushing forward the move. There's down to forward Margaret Magnuson, Ed Peterson, Sig Hager, Dick Johnson's dad. There's Uncle Stain. And, oh my golly, there's Henrietta Johnson. And there's Dr. Bill Blaisdell. And May Baxter and Neil Baxter. And there's Marilyn Erickson. And there's Virginia Blaisdell. And they're coming faster than I can name them all. That look like Kathy Malquist. And there's our choir director, Mrs. Chingren, Matt Peterson. And there was Uncle John. And there's Dick Johnson and Burnell. And Bob Keith, Al Nilsson, Johnny Arts, Randy. That's our Randy. Dave Simmons, and there's a Marine, and Lindbergh, Walt Erickson, Jimmy Lawson. And here's the police. It's going to escort us up to the new church. We're all lined up, ready to go. And I think Roy Peterson arranged for this escort. And away we go. Quite an impressive thing. We're passing the Unitarian Church right there. And there was a string of cars. Dan Lundy, our mayor at the time. And he gets in there and gets a shovel full of dirt. And our contractor. And John Sonderson giving us a few words of encouragement for the project. And he does a one-handed job. There, now he's digging in there. That's a good shovel. Don Oaks. Dirt. Good move, Anna. And now they're interviewing. And there's quite a group right there. The men mainly responsible for the church. There's Faith Oaks. September 6th of 1970. And again, we've got a big turnout, and I'll try to identify the people I can. I can see Victor Berquist, Donnie Holm, looks like Henrietta, there's Bert Holm, Dick Johnson, Walt Erickson, I believe Dick Johnson, Burnell, I think that might be Anna, and there's Pastor Sonderson with the microphone, Don Oaks, Anna Johnson, Betty Dill, I don't know if that's Jerry Loomis, I guess, Sidney Johnson, I think. I can see Steve Sonderson, Nilsson, and there's Ivor Norgren, and Uncle Stain and Aunt Lily, Carl Winterstrom, Margaret Hager, could it be Onley? Sig behind her, Roy Peterson, Dave Erickson, Mary, Dave Simmons, and Linda, his wife. And the youngsters I don't know. another big day in the history of the church, no question about that. And there was Mrs. Cordenmarker. And Anna Johnson is saying a few words. And there's Sidney Johnson, Jerry Loomis. And Sidney's speaking now. A lot of stuff went in that Cornerstone that somebody will have a lot of joy out of reading. Explaining what he's putting in there. Apparently that looks like a New Testament. And there's our contractor and Dick, and there is Zetterwald and his wife, Howard Zetterwald. And I think we are laying everything out in good shape, and it's not really a large box, but there's a lot of things in the history of the church in 1970. Things in the history of the church in 1970. There's last Sunday at Chandler Street Church. There's Betty Johnson, John Johnson, Dick Johnson, Carl Winterstrom. It looked like Dave Erickson. There's Lloyd. And wave there that was Kathy and Grace. There's Greg. And they're filing out one at a time. You ought to be able to get more of them. There is, oh my gosh, I can't. This is the trouble. I can't identify everybody. A lot of youngsters here. There's Mae Baxter. There's our daughter Becky, I think. John Yarts. And I don't know. There was Randy Erickson.
Dave Sepman.
And somebody carrying a kid there. Now, I remember that guy, but I don't remember his name. That was Debbie Baxter. And there is Henrietta, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Faith Oaks.
And Esther Brodeen, one of the old members of the church.
And Tim Johnson, or Paul Johnson, rather. And Vi Loomis.
And Jerry.
And
Joanne Huff and Evie.
Yeah, and Evie. My gosh, yeah. This is kind of a sad day in a way for a lot of people, and for us, for me too, because I got married in that church. All the kids were baptized in that church, and it was our last service there. It was a piece of history. Don Oaks holding the door open for the people, and there's
Haight,
yeah,
Fred Haight, and Marilyn Erickson.
Yeah, and there's Bill Huff. And Linda.
Eleanor Marker.
Right.
Anderson.
And Paula Huff. Bill Huff again now. There is Connie, was it? Conrad.
And Ivan and Nettie Norgren. And Lynn Blatt.
Yeah.
Kay Lindblad and
Dick Johnson. Burnell again.
And that's Hall Girl. And her children.
Don Van Stevie. Yeah, that old boy Don. And
Al Lindbergh's mother.
Al Lindbergh's mother. Very good. And there's Sidney. And Don Oaks.
And there's Bob Gould.
Yeah. Donnie Holm. And Marion Oberg. And I can't think of his name. The mute. Where that is there. Christmas decorations.
That's Michelle Darrell.
There's Gladys.